This is why bodybuilders, a sport where taking performance-enhancing drugs is almost required, this is the only group of people that does volume training. Only. Like, there is no sport in the world that has their athletes training. So think about the money that's in gymnastics, that's in powerlifting, that's in the NFL, that's in Major League Baseball, hockey. All of these guys are training with high intensity, and most of them with variable resistance because they want to avoid an injury. Your career's over real quick if you get injured. Hi, my name is Jaquish. I'm a doctor of biomedical engineering, which gives me a unique perspective on many different things. One of those things is hormones specifically having to do with muscular growth. So there's a lot of confusion when it comes to building muscle. And probably the thing that skews the discussion and ruins the discussion really is the amount of people who take performance-enhancing drugs then market their opinion like it's really good or backed up by data. And their attitude is like, well, it worked for me. And they'll talk about training, but they won't talk about the drugs they take. So, and I want to be crystal clear here. Testosterone replacement therapy and a cycle of anabolics. Testosterone is a steroid, so it's used with both different types of people. But somebody who's doing testosterone replacement therapy might be taking at or around 150 milligrams per week. One of the studies I'm going to be referring to about steroid users, they take 1,000 milligrams per week. So 150 versus 1,000. So it's a very different subject when somebody is doing a cycle of anabolics. Now, I also want to point out before I get into this that anabolic steroids are now associated with excessive organ growth. So that whole, like the bodybuilders, they look like they've swallowed a sea turtle. They almost look pregnant. Like they're lean, but their guts are sticking way out and they're distended and they look terrible. It turns out it's not growth hormone that does that. It's often called GH gut. It's not from GH. It's from anabolic steroids. And I'm going to show the research, but it's like more than 40% size of organ growth with habitual steroid users. So you don't ever want to go down that path. It sucks. Way more downsides. By the way, this organ growth is permanent. The muscle growth is temporary. So keep that in mind when you're trying to make a decision if you want to do this or if you don't want to do this when it comes to performance-enhancing drugs. But I want to watch a little bit of a video about testosterone done by one of my good friends, Menno Henselmans. So let's get into this.
The first myth is that testosterone helps you build muscle. Yes, that's a myth. And trust me, I was surprised too, but I think we now have enough research to say that this is at least largely a myth.
So my friend Menno makes great content.
Testosterone makes you gain muscle. If you give people testosterone, they gain muscle. The more testosterone you give them, the more muscle they gain. We see this even in the physiological range. So within the natural range, there are multiple studies like this one by Wang et al., I'm not making this up, they found that men that were just barely hypogonadal, so their testosterone levels were just a little bit below the normal range, they were given testosterone in varying dosages, and the more testosterone they got, the higher their fat-free mass gains. Also, the more fat they lost. So we saw increasingly positive body recomposition at higher dosages of testosterone, even while staying within the normal range. However, this effect is a standalone effect. So if you give people testosterone, they gain more muscle. But if you then also make them exercise, it doesn't increase the rate of gains. And we see this in two lines of research. One, we have a number of studies that find that people that have higher testosterone levels generally do not gain more muscle or more strength from training. So the rate of muscle growth and strength development are not affected by people's baseline testosterone level. Moreover, we have a line of research in studies where we give people testosterone, and then we see that, of course, again, they gain muscle from the testosterone. But the groups that exercise, they don't gain more muscle from the exercise when they testosterone. In other words, in statistical terms, the effect of testosterone is additive, not synergistic, and there is no interaction effect between the muscle growth from testosterone and the muscle growth from strength training. One of the most famous studies on this had people take 600 milligrams of testosterone with or without exercise. So they had 4 groups of trained men, lifting weights 3 times per week with a coach with no testosterone, not lifting and not taking testosterone. Good luck with that. And then lifting weights and injecting 600 milligrams per week of testosterone, and not lifting but taking the testosterone, the true bro way out. All the groups were on a standardized diet with 1.5 gram per kilogram per day of protein. After 10 weeks, of course, both the testosterone and strength training resulted in muscle growth. Interestingly, the testosterone without training in previously trained individuals that were now taking 10 weeks off from the gym actually resulted in more muscle growth than training. Let that sink into your head for a moment.
So the people who took the testosterone and didn't train grew the most muscle. Now, keep in mind, it's a super physiologic dose. It's going to cause permanent side effects with a temporary muscular effect. Don't go down that path. It's dumb. But it makes you rethink maybe a strategic type of TRT, which saturates more receptors and has less side effects because it stays within the physiological up and down regulation window in the morning. So that's what you see on oralonly.com. So that's what I think. If anabolics are approached at all, it needs to be from the TRT perspective and getting the most out of TRT. Going beyond that is just not smart. And now you see here, we've got people who are growing because of the testosterone they're taking, and they think that they've got the formula figured out for muscle growth. This is why bodybuilders, a sport where taking performance-enhancing drugs is almost required, this is the only group of people that does volume training. Only. Like, there is no sport in the world that has their athletes training. So think about the money that's in gymnastics, that's in powerlifting, that's in the NFL, that's in Major League Baseball, hockey. All of these guys are training with high intensity, and most of them with variable resistance because they want to avoid an injury. Your career's over real quick if you get injured. Keep all these things in mind. And when you think you're listening to somebody who takes performance-enhancing drugs and they're advising on training, it doesn't mean they're necessarily wrong. But if their reference point is their own success, you can pretty much disregard what they say because their effects may have absolutely nothing to do with their training. Their training might be like turbo stupid, and it doesn't matter because they're just growing anyway. Also, their organs. And I hope all these things helped. I know there's going to be a lot of questions for this. Please ask them in the comments, and I'm on your team. I want you guys to be absolutely as healthy as possible. I don't want you to do cycles of steroids, and I want your training to be absolutely on point so you are the absolute strongest, biggest, and leanest version of yourself you can be. I'll see you on the next one.
If this video helped you, I want you to subscribe and follow. I'm going to put out videos on a regular basis. I think they're going to help a whole lot of people, especially if you're one of those people that doesn't just instantly grow from lifting regular weights. We've got the answer for you.